Hello, good people, God's own people. Welcome to slot 6 of Meaningful 5 Minutes with Mommy Reads. So far, we've been able to discuss several issues: our salvation, where our position, where to worship, what to expect where we worship, and of course, how to live a life that will put a smile on God's face and that will cause others to say good things about the Jesus we know. And so today in slot 6, we'll be proceeding with some of the virtues that we should have or we should try to inculcate as believers, as children of God. Today we'll be talking about two aspects: holiness and humility. Hallelujah. And our main passage for holiness is First Peter 5 from verse 5 to 6. As a matter of fact, we are instructed. It is not a plea. It's not negotiable. We are instructed to be holy, for God Himself is holy. Holiness is not tying our hair ties to our eyebrows. Holiness is not wearing maxi dresses and yet living in sin. Tying a tie and wearing maxi dresses is a good thing, but what God requires from us most is living a life that is free of sin. Hallelujah. Holiness can be defined in simple terms as a life that is pleasing to God. And that life that is pleasing to God is void of sin. This doesn't mean that you cannot fall into sin from time to time, but this means that you make a conscious effort to get away from sin, to stay away from company that leads you to sin, to stay away from things that can trigger or prompt sin. And also, as soon as you discover the Holy Spirit prompts you or convicts you that you have sinned, you don't wait to get to your destination before you confess the sin. You confess it on the spot. So we are not called to live a life of sins because, as I said, we are human beings, we have our flaws, we live on earth. But a life of holiness is one which is sin-free, in which you make a conscious effort to say no to sin. It's not a life of physical decency and spiritual indecency. It is a life of spiritual decency which spills over to physical decency. Hallelujah. We'll also be looking at humility. And humility is being, in other words, the verb from humility is humble. And we look at the passage for humility is James chapter 4, from 4 verse 10. God Himself opposes the proud. That's why He gives us the instructions to humble ourselves. In James chapter 4 verse 10, we are told to humble ourselves. We must make a conscious effort to humble ourselves. If God humbles us, He will humiliate us. Hallelujah. So you as an individual must make a decision to be humble. Being humble is putting your power. In effect, you can say being humble is playing the fool to see who a better fool is. Being humble is not being weak, is not being stupid, is not being foolish. As a matter of fact, it's being matured, is being strong, is being able to teach the wise that in their wisdom there is folly, because God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. He uses the weak to show the strong that their strength is weakness. That's why we are made to understand that there is need for us to be humble. God Himself opposes the proud. It's not the devil who opposes the proud. It is God Himself who opposes the proud, yet gives grace to the humble. Hallelujah. Satan, in all his glory, in all what he had in heaven, pride let him fall. Pride gave him the biggest fall. God is not a man who respects persons. God is not a respecter of persons. No matter your position, no matter your rank, God does not care. What God is interested in is how holy you are as unto Him and how humble you are. Jesus Himself was humble. He had the power to command angels to come and save Him, but yet He stayed and He was humble. God did not change the name of sin when David, the man after His own heart, sinned. He still called sin sin. So I'm appealing to us, my brothers, my sisters. It is necessary for us to lead a life that is holy, a life that hates sin. We are made in the likeness of God, in the image of God, and our Father in heaven hates sin. So we too are called upon to hate sin, to make a conscious effort to live pleasant lives, to live sin-free lives. That is what can be referred to as holiness. And above all, we are called upon to be humble, because God gives grace to the humble. Hallelujah. So remember always that in the midst of challenges, in the midst of difficulties, we need to be holy. For holiness is the only thing that qualifies us for heaven, and we need to be humble. You can like, you can share, and of course, you can comment. Remember always that the Bible is the road, Jesus is the code, sin is the obstacle, and heaven is the destination. Shalom, good people.